So we saw the conditional operator which is being represented by question mark and colon. Okay. So I gave you one example. Suppose we want to check out of two numbers which one is greater. So I wrote like this. One variable I took, let's say result is equal to, I checked whether x is greater than y question mark. Okay, whether x is greater than y question mark. If this condition is true, then this part will be executed. If this condition is false, then the other operand which is there on the right hand side of the colon, that part will be executed. क्यों पेन हो रहा है बोल रही है Okay. So in this case, it will check if x is greater than y question mark. If this condition is true, then this part will be evaluated. If this is false, then the second part will be evaluated. So in this case, now we are simply putting the value of x and y. So if this condition is true, x value will be copied to result. If this is false, then y will get assigned to result. Okay. So this is how we execute, and this is how this conditional operator works, right? Now let's say there are three numbers, okay, A, B, and C, and I want to check which is the greatest one. So what you can do, you can simply say like a result is equal to, I can check first two numbers. So I can say like this: if A is greater than B question mark, then A colon C, A colon B, sorry. So now first I'm deciding between A and B, whichever is the greatest, that will be copied to result. Okay. Or if you want, you can take simply X over here. So that value will come in X. Now what we can do, I can check X with C. Okay, I can check X with C. So I'll write again, if X is greater than C, question mark, then X, else C. So if X is greater than C, then copy the value of X in the X only. Okay. If this condition is false, then assign the value of C in the X. And this is how we can determine that which is the greatest among the three numbers, again by the ternary operator. You can write the entire syntax in one simple straight line also. So when one will be doing the programming, I'll teach you that particular thing, right? Otherwise, you can explore from your side. We can write the entire thing in one single line. So in one line, we can compare all the three variables to check whether which one is the greatest one. But this is how you can separate it. You can check by two, and then you can go ahead with the resultant of that one with the third number. Okay. If you really want to see, I'll just show you once. Let's say, for example, I want to determine between A, B, and C. So what I'll write like this. I'll first check with A and B. So I'm saying whether A is greater than B. If A is greater than B, that means A is greater than B. Okay, so I will also check whether A is greater than C. So if A is greater than B, the first part will be executed, and here I'll say whether A is greater than C. Okay, this, if yes, then A, else C. Now for this one, there will be colon, and in the second part I'll write, now if this condition is false, that means B will be greater, right? B will be greater than A. So I'll check B with C also. So here I'll write, then B is greater than C question mark. If yes, then B will be copied, else C will be copied. So this is how I can write entire thing one straight line. Once we'll be doing the program, I can show over there, right? So just remember that I'm checking with the first number A and B, and if A is greater than B, I must also check whether it is greater than C also. Then only it will be what? It will be greatest number. So I am first checking A is greater than B. If yes, then this part will be evaluated. And in this particular part, I am checking that whether A is also greater than C. So if A is greater than C, then definitely A is the greatest number, and I am assigning that number inside X. But if A is not greater than C, that means C is the greatest number, and I am copying that value inside X. But if this condition is false, that means A is not greater than B. That means B is greater than A. So the first part is confirmed that B is greater than A. I must also check whether B is greater than C or not, okay, because there are three numbers. So that's why in the evaluation part, if this condition is false, then this particular part will be evaluated. And here I am checking whether B is greater than C. If B is greater than C, then I am copying B value inside X. Otherwise, if C is greater than B, that means C is the greatest, so I'll copy C value inside X. This is what this expression tells you. Okay. So now we are just remaining with one or two operators. So let me show you quickly. Okay. So out of that, one is size of operator. Its work is very simple. Size of operator. The size of operator will give you the size of your data type. Okay. So for example, if you write a program and if you just simply write in this way, let's say, suppose you are having int x is equal to 2. I am explaining about size size of. So if I try to print this, if I write like the size of x, so size of x is what? It will give me 2 bytes. Okay, so 2 it will give me, because the integer type data type, it will require 2 bytes, so it will give me 2 bytes. If on your machine, if it's requiring 4 bytes, it will give you 4 okay. If I want to check for the constant directly, let's say if I am writing size of 5, so this is treated as what? Integer. Then it will give me 2 byte. Okay. If I am having char x is equal to a, and if I am saying size of x, so it will give me 1. So size of x will be 1 byte. So why this operator is important? This operator is important because suppose I'm writing a program, and uh, where the size of data type matters. Okay, I must determine first what is size of the data type, and depending on that I'll be doing the calculation or not. So if I don't know on which particular operating system my program will going to run, right, and the size may differ, right? So I can write a generic program where, but with the help of size of operator, I can first determine what will be the size of that particular data type on that particular machine, and after that I can write my program, right? So it doesn't matter on which particular machine it will be running the program, my program will not go wrong. And depending on that particular requirement, with the help of, because I have determined already with the help of size of operator the sizes, I'll be able to do the program properly. So this is why this particular no operator is useful. It will just give you the size of that particular data type on that particular system. Okay, and there is one more operator, that is last one, comma operator. So let me show you that. It's there. Yeah, it's the comma operator. In the comma operator, what it gives us, see, whenever, for example, let me show you. So in the program, suppose I'm writing like this: void main int x. So int x equal to 5, let's say. Float float y is equal to 10. Char x is equal to a. Okay. Like this, if I have described. So with the help of comma operator, I can describe all these things in one single line. So I can write like this: void main int x is equal to 5 comma char, sorry. So let's say suppose I'm having one more. Okay. So what I was trying to explain you here, we requires three lines, right? Here we requires three lines to write all the data types and everything in separate lines. But with the help of comma operator, I can just declare each and everything. I mean, most of the things in one single line. And this is how what it makes. If your code is long, if your code is long, it will make it compact. It will make it compact. If your code is long, it will make it compact by writing the entire thing in one single line, because with the help of comma we can just simply separate it. So if you see over here, one example is given, like a is equal to 8, okay, b is equal to 7, c is equal to 9. And then if these three different variables are declared, so you can write in one single line like this. So this will be not be proper example, because here I cannot declare with the float also. So if I am in three different integers, I can simply write, let's say this is also int, and this is also int. So I can declare x equal to 5, y equal to 10, and let's say this is 20. So, and this is z. So z is equal to 20. So in short, the three lines is getting converted into one lines. Or let's say if I am having in this way, a is equal to 10, b is equal to 20, c is equal to 30, and x is equal to a plus b plus c. So this I can write in one single line: a is equal to 10, b is equal to 20, c is equal to 30, then comma a plus b plus c colon. Okay, a plus b plus c colon, and here I can write x. So I can write x is equal to a equal to 10, b equal to 20, c equal to 30, and then a plus b plus c. So in one straight line, I can write, and I can just reduce the number of steps which I have written over here. So this is what it makes suitable all of you to write the, I mean, number of lines in one single straight line. Okay. Uh, you will have to put this bracket also, because bracket is important depending on the precedence. So bracket is needed. So you can write all these four lines in one single line. So remember, I mean, most of the time we use that comma operator always in the program, right? And uh, we try to declare the different variables with the help of comma just to separate it out. That's what we are doing. I mean, in place of writing in the multiple lines, we are writing in one single line. So this is a one of the special operator. Okay. Even the size of was also one of the special operator. Then let me show you again what we have covered. So we have covered all the operators. Yeah. So we saw arithmetic operators, assignment operators, increment, decrement operators, relational operators, logical operators, conditional, comma operators, size of, and bitwise operators. Okay, so we saw all these operators. Now let's move ahead to the precedence and associativity part. So let me explain you precedence and associativity. Now, if you take the example of arithmetic operators or any operators, so let's first take the arithmetic operators. We have division, we have multiplication, we have mod, we have plus and minus. Okay. Now, if in any expression, let's say if I'm writing one expression, 5 divided by 2. If suppose this is the expression 5 divided by 2 into 3 plus 1 minus 2. Now, if this expression is given to the compiler, then how the computer will going to evaluate this particular expression? Here we are not having the BODMAS rule. So what computer will do? Computer will try to understand what is the precedence of each and every operator. So what do you mean by precedence? The priority of each and every operator, right? What do you mean by priority? That means which operators to be performed first. Clear? So for example, if there are number of operators, then which operator to be performed first, that depends on the precedence of the operator. If an operator has higher precedence, then that operation will be performed first. So all of you write about precedence. Write about precedence. It is a priority. It is a priority assigned to an operator. It is a priority assigned to an operator. It is a priority assigned to an operator. It tells the compiler. It tells the compiler. It is a proper. It is a priority. It is a priority assigned assigned to the operator. It tells the compiler. It tells the compiler which operation to be performed first. First, it tells the compiler which operation to be performed first. Okay. Now there is an issue, right? What if, for example, is arithmetic operators. In arithmetic operators, we have the division like this: division, multiplication, and mod. They are of same precedence level. Of same precedence level. And then plus and minus. Okay, they both are of same precedence level. So this is having the high precedence, and this is having the low precedence. Okay, but division, multiplication, mod, they are having the same precedence, and plus and minus, they are having the same precedence, but plus minus are having lower precedence than division, multiplication, and mod. So what will happen if in an expression two operators of the same precedence level will appear? Then which operation to be performed first? For example, if you see in this particular expression, division is also there and the multiplication is also there. Okay, plus is also there, minus is also there. Now obviously, uh, plus and minus will not be evaluated first before the division and multiplication, because division, multiplication, and mod are having the higher precedence than plus and minus. So that question is ruled out. But the division and multiplication are having the same precedence level. So out of these two, compiler will going to evaluate which one first. Okay, that is the question, because both are having the same precedence level. So always remember, whenever the operators of same precedence level will appear in an expression, then whichever operator is having, so what we will do, we will go by the associativity. Okay, so we have to see the associativity of that particular operator. That means whether to perform from left to right or right to left. So associativity are of two types. Associativity. Associativity of two types: left to right or right to left. That means whether to evaluate the expression from left to right or right to left. Now every operator, okay, arithmetic, relational, assignment operator, every type of operator, they are having one particular type of associativity. So whenever two operators of same precedence level will appear in an expression, then that expression will be solved by the associativity. Okay, so which expression we are talking about? 5 divided by 2 into 3. Now here plus and minus question is not coming because first division and multiplication is there. So the compiler needs to decide between division and multiplication. Now arithmetic operators having the associativity from left to right, from left to right. So here the first operator which will appear, that is the division. So it will going to perform division first. Now I'll try to solve this particular expression step by step, and I'll also write the hierarchy of each and every step. So here I am writing hierarchy of steps. Okay. So first operation I will perform what? So I mean the compiler will going to see the division and multiplication out of these two because they are having the same precedence level. So it will try to solve first division based on the associativity. The first step, division. It will take the division. So now 5 will be divided by 2. It will do the integer division because there is no mention of the float and numbers and all. So it will try to do the integer division. So 5 will be divided by 2, right? 2 times it will go. 2 times it will go. And after that point value will be ignored because this is the integer division. So 2 into 3 plus 1 minus 2. Don't try to solve in one single step. You need to show each and every step. And we are showing the hierarchy of each and every step. Okay. Now the next step will be what? It will take the multiplication because plus and minus having the lower precedence. So it will take the multiplication. 6 plus 1 minus 2. Now out of these two plus and minus, again the problem because the precedence level of plus and minus are the same. They are both on the same level. So it will try to solve by the associativity and the associativity of arithmetic operators from left to right. So first operator it will going to perform, that is what? Addition. So this will become 7 minus 2, and finally it will perform minus, and this will become 5. So final answer will be 5. So the question may comes like the expression will be given to you, and in the question it will be like this: evaluate the following expression, and also write the hierarchy of each and every step. Right. So you must try to solve in this particular way, and on the right hand side you can make the column of hierarchy of steps where you must specify the symbols or the operators which you will going to perform first. Okay, let's take one more example. If this is completed, all of you, is there any question in this? If you have any doubt, you can ask me. Please go ahead. If you have any doubt, ask me. Or if you want, you can also put in the chat box. Okay. So nobody has doubt. So please write about associativity. 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 If two operators, two operators of, right, like this, two or more operators, operators of same precedence level, same precedence level. Um, who is asking? Conard. Okay. Conrad Calderia is asking, the associativity of plus minus is right to left. It's from left to right. Okay. Right to left, we have the associativity, and that is for few operators. Okay. We'll be seeing that. So once I'll finish this thing, then in one table, I'll try to show you all the operators along with their associativity. Okay. And you will have to remember also, because you will have to solve that. Okay. So just write the definition of this one, associativity. If two or more operators precedence level, of same precedence level appear in an expression, then then it is evaluated based on based on associativity of the operators. Associativity of the operators. So let's take one more example. Suppose I am having, okay, this expression I am having, and it is told that evaluate the following expression along with the hierarchy of each and every step. Now here, if you see, it's a combination of arithmetic operators, as well as this is what a relational operator, greater than or equal to. Now the computer will try to resolve it. I mean, which operators are having the same precedence level. Okay, so if you see here, this relational operators has a lower precedence level than the arithmetic operators. Okay, so that question is solved. That means it will going to solve this particular, evaluate this expression greater than equal to at the end, when there won't be any arithmetic operators are left. Okay, now out of that, in arithmetic operators, if you see here, the multiplication, it's a combination of two or more operators of the same precedence level. So obviously it will going to solve by the associativity. Okay, here I am writing the hierarchy. So we'll solve in this way. So first operator, it will come across, that is multiplication. So 5 into 3, 15 divided by 2 into 1 greater than equal to 3 into 2 divided by 1 plus 2. Now the next one, it will come across, this is division. Now this is integer division, so 7. Okay, 7 times it will go. Don't write 7.5 because this is integer division. So 7 into 1 greater than equal to 3 into 2 divided by 1 plus 2. Now the next one is into is there. So 7 into 1, 7 greater than equal to 3 into 2 divided by 1 plus 2. It's moving in this particular direction. Now this will come multiplication. So 7 greater than equal to 3 into 2, 6 divided by 1 plus 2. Now this division is remaining. So division 7 greater than equal to 6 plus 2. Now still one arithmetic operator is remaining, that is plus 7 greater than equal to 8. Now there is no arithmetic operators are remaining. Now the final operator which is being left, that is greater than equal to. So is 7 greater than equal to 8? No. So answer is what? False. So answer will be 0. Okay. Here I can write greater than equal to is evaluated. So in this way, depending on the hierarchy of the operators, you will have to resolve the expression which is given to you. But for that purpose, you will have to remember the precedence of each and every operators along with their associativity. That is important. Otherwise, you will not be able to resolve it. Okay. So whether this example is completed, it is over, then we can move ahead. If this is completed, then we can move ahead. Okay. Now let's see all the operators together. So I hope there will be one chart in this. Yeah. Mm, So this is the entire table of the operators, and if you see here at the top there is an operator, that is the type of operator, then a description about that, then precedence level and associativity is there. Okay, let me check if in my WhatsApp there will be image of this one so I can forward to all of you. All of you can see this one, or it's very small. What you can do, you can take the image of this one, and then on your machine you can open this. Okay, I don't have the image, so I'll explain with this only. I'll just increase little bit. Yeah. Now to remember this, there I think there are total 15 precedence level. And this numbering is all, yeah. There is a numbering. Okay, this is a precedence level. So the precedence level column is there here. 1, 2, then 3, 4, 5. If you see here, total 15 precedence levels are there. So you can you can mark this particular column to the first, okay, at the first column position. So by that you can understand that this is the first, second, and third precedence level, right? Now, how to remember all these different operators along with their precedence level and along with their associativity? So we can make one statement. Start with, so we can make the statement like this. Start with round bracket, comma, square. Start with round bracket, make it square arrow dot, make it square arrow dot, and use it as unary assignment. Use it as unary assignment operator and separate it by comma. So I'll write the statement first. So the first statement I'm writing. start, you also please note down, start with round, make it, start with round bracket, make it square, arrow, dot, okay, and use it as unary unary assignment, use it as unary assignment and separate it by comma, separate it by comma, separate it by comma. Start with round bracket, make it square, arrow, dot, and use it as unary assignment. So I'm underlining on unary, then I'm underlining on assignment, and separate it by comma. I'm underlining on comma. Okay. You start with round bracket, make it square, arrow, dot, and square, arrow, dot, and use it use it as unary assignment and separate it by comma. Whether all of you can see this? Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, all of you can see now. So this statement I am giving so that you can remember few operators by this statement. Then I'll write one more statement, and with the help of both statement, we'll be able to remember each and everything along with the associativity. Now, why I wrote this? So the first operator which will going to start, and that will have this one. So I'm saying start with round bracket. So I'll be writing first round bracket, then I'm having this square, then I am having arrow, and I am having dot. So this will make the first precedence level operator. Okay. First precedence level operator. Right. So with this statement, at least this is clear. The first, this part, the first precedence level operator in that function call is there, array subscript is there, arrow operator is there, and the dot operator. This is the first precedence level. So what I wrote, start with round bracket, make it square, arrow, and dot. This is over. Then after that, what I have written, use it. Okay, this is use it as unary assignment. Use it as unary assignment. So I underline unary. So that means the next one is coming, that is all the unary operators. Okay, all the unary operators, second level precedence. So in the unary operators, just remember that the operator which operates on single operand. Okay, that operator is called as a unary operator. For example, unary plus is also there. Okay, one plus is there, that will operate on two numbers. Let's say x plus y. This is binary operator which is operating on two numbers. But if I am simply writing plus 5, right, or plus x, so this is operating on one single operand. That's why this is unary plus. Okay. Similarly, if I write minus x, so this is unary minus. So in this way, there is a unary plus, unary minus. This increment and decrement, we know unary operators, plus, plus, minus, minus. Then this logical not is there. Okay, logical not is like this. Then tilde negation, this is a bitwise negation. Then we have star, this is called as what? This is called a indirection operator. Okay, star, it's not a multiplication. I mean, it's a multiplication, but here we are seeing as a unary operator. So that is treated as what? Indirection operators that will be used in pointers later on. Then there is a ampersand. Okay, ampersand. This is called as address of operator. Ampersand is called as what? Address of operators. Address of. And then we are having the size of. Okay, just now we saw the size of. Okay, so size of operators also come in the unary assignment. So the second level is, you can write here, plus, minus, plus, plus, minus, minus, logical not, negation, this asterisk, ampersand, and then the finally size of all these operators comes in what? Second level, unary. So we have covered the second one also. What we wrote, start with round bracket, make it square arrow dot, square arrow dot, and use it as unary. And then we are saying unary assignment. So the after that, which operator will come? Assignment operator. But this assignment and separated by comma, these are, remember, these are the second last and last operator. This is the second last and this is the last operator. Comma operator is the last operator. So let's go there. So I'm just trying to delete this one, or let me show the pointer. So if you see the last is assignment operator and then the comma operator. So I wrote first two, first and second, then I directly jump to 14 and 15. Okay, 14th and 15th. See this 14th and 15th. Clear? So the 14th one is assignment operators. So all the assignment operators, right, along with the updating assignments, which we saw yesterday, all the assignment operators, like first assignment operator, we can write like this. So we can write like this, x is equal to 5. So 5 will get assigned to x. This is the assignment operator. So we are having this assignment operators. We are having plus equal to, minus equal to, into equal to, division equal to, all, right? Ampersand equal to. So if you see over here, we are having the list of assignment operators along with the updating assignment. Equal to, into equal to, division equal to, mod equal to, right? All these operators we are having, that is assignment operators. Precedence level is 14. And then the last one, this is what? A comma operator, and that is what? Precedence level 50. So this is how we have covered four different types of operators, and by which statement we just wrote this particular statement. Start with round bracket. So I just wrote this particular statement in a story manner so that you can remember it. Start with round bracket, make it square, right? Then arrow, dot, and use it as unary assignment. Use it as unary assignment and separate it by comma. Separate it by comma. Right? So first one, this one, unary. First one, this one, right? Start with round bracket, then square bracket, arrow, and dot. Then the second one is unary operator. Third, that is the, I mean, this is the 14th one, second last assignment operator, and the last one is what? Comma operator. So we have covered these four types. Now let's see about from 3 to 13. Okay, 3 to 13, how we can remember. From 3 to 13, how we can remember. So for that, I'm writing one statement. Second, I just change the color. Arithmetic operators. Then we have relational operators. Then bitwise. Okay. Okay. So what I wrote over here, Ash relation with Bachchan and Lallu made ternary. Okay, this particular statement I have written, Ash relation with Bachchan and Lallu made ternary. So in many movies we see uh, I mean, two heroes are there, and let's say one heroine is there, right? So there is a triangle which is made, right? So I'm talking about this Aishwarya Rai, this particular Ash, then Bachchan, and then Lallu. In place of Salman Khan, Sallu, I made Lallu. Okay, that's it. To remember this entire thing. So if you see here, with this Ash, what I can write over here, I don't have. So with Ash, remember this A and SH. So with A, I can write arithmetic operators. I can write shift operator, shift. Shift operators means what? Left shift and right shift, okay? Like this. Left shift and right shift, shift operators. So the first part is clear, this ash. Then with the relation, I can write relational operators. With relation, I can write all the relational operators. So in the relational operator, what we are having? We are having less than, greater than, equal to, less than, equal to, right? All these relational operators, and then after that, equal to and not equal to. Clear? So we can write that. Then Bachchan. So with B, I can write bitwise operator. So in the bitwise operator, we are having and, we are having XOR, okay? We are having OR, right? So bitwise operator, we also have the negation, but negation already came in the unary operator. So I will not take this one, but we are having this and, XOR and OR, right? So with bitwise operators, then Lallu L will make you the logical operators. Okay, logical operators. So what do you mean by logical operators? So logical operators like all and logical or, okay, and logical not I'll not take because logical not is already taken in the unary operator. So two are left, that is logical and logical or. And then the made ternary. So the last one, that is the 13th one, because 14th and 15th we covered with the first statement. So last is what? 14th, 13th one, that is a ternary operator. And ternary we know that is question mark and colon. Okay, this operator, ternary. So what you have to remember, as relation with Bachchan and Lallu made ternary. Just for the sake of simplicity, for remembering all the operators, right? I made the second statement, and the first statement start with round bracket, make it square, arrow, dot, use it as assignment, unary assignment, and separate it by comma. And second statement is what? At as relation with Bachchan and Lallu made ternary. With A, arithmetic operator, with SH, shift operator, with a relational operators, with Bachchan, B, bitwise operators, okay, with B, bitwise operators, with L, Lallu L is what? Logical operators, made ternaries. From made, nothing is there, but from ternary operator is there. Okay. So if you try to write all these, remember one more thing. You will also have to keep in mind that for example, if I'm talking about arithmetic operators, so in the arithmetic operator itself, there are two division. One is a multiplication division mod of the same level. Okay, multiplication division mod same level. Then after that, plus and minus comes. So you will have to write in a separate precedence level. For example, if you see here, this is at the third level, then plus and minus at the fourth precedence level, right? So this is at third and this is at fourth. Similarly, once you will write shift operator, left shift and right shift, they are at the same level. So left shift, right shift, this is at fifth. Then the sixth, that is a relational operator which comes. In relational operator, there are two partition. One is less than, greater than, greater than, I mean less than, equal to, greater than, equal to, this partition. And there is one more partition, that is equal to and not equal to. The way we have in arithmetic operator, similarly in the relational operators, there are two partition. this equal to and not equal to are having lower precedence than, less than, greater than, equal to, and less than equal to. Okay. So there are two partitions. So I can write in this way. Similarly, once you will write bitwise operator, in the bitwise, each and every operator is having of the same different precedence level. The highest precedence of and, then XOR, and then OR. Okay, so please remember this. First and, then XOR, and then OR. So they are of the different precedence levels. So I can write this one as 8, this one as 9, and this one as 10. Then after that, logical lallu is there, right? Bachchan and lallu. So L, logical. So the logical and is having different precedence. Logical or is having different precedence. So two operators are there, logical and logical or, right? Because the negation of bitwise I covered in unary. The logical not also I've covered in the unary operators here. Okay. So the and or are having different precedence level. I can write this and as what, 11, and this or as what, 12. Now we only thing which is remaining, that is ternary operator, and this one, which will be at 13. And we know that the last two are assignment operator and the comma operator. So I hope with these two statements you will be able to write this entire table. Now only thing which is remaining, that is what, associativity. So remember, for associativity, if you remember all these things, only for second one, only for the second one, okay, and the 13th and 14th, that is the conditional operator and assignment operators. The associativity is from right to left, rest all associativity is from left to right. So only three students, please remember, the conditional operators, that is the 13th one, conditional operator, and the assignment operator. Associativity is from right to left, rest all, and one more is there, that is, if you see over here, this is a unary operator. Okay, unary operator. So for unary operators also we are having right to left. So remember, for unary operator, okay, second, that is second, then we are having 13th and 14th, conditional operator and assignment operators. Only the associativity is from right to left, rest all the associativity is from left to right. So I hope in this particular way you all will be able to remember. And student, please try to remember this table. If you remember now, forever you will be able to remember, because I gave you two statements, and till your BE, till your entire life, you won't be having the problem in remembering this entire table. Otherwise it becomes very difficult to remember each and every precedence and the associativity of each and every operator. So I hope I'm clear. And if you're not understood, I mean, you can always revise the video lecture, and you can always see, right? I'll be putting this particular record in the classroom, and also it will be available on the YouTube, right? The same link. You can always rewind and you can see. Okay. Then time is over.